I'm going to read from Call Me Libertad, my introduction to Call Me Libertad Poems Between Borders, published by formerly Civic and now Freedom for Immigrants, co-edited with Cristina Fiallo and Cristina Scholl. And you can find it on the Freedom for Immigrants website, where it says Our Work, where it says Storytelling. My story. During what the military dictatorship in Argentina called its dirty war against subversives, between 1976 and 1983, 30,000 human beings were abducted and disappeared into secret prisons. Most were tortured and killed, and their bodies never returned to their families. They were the disappeared. Very few of us survived and were kept without charges as political prisoners. After my 5 months in a secret detention camp, I spent 2.5 years as a political prisoner. In those prisons, there was a reason for poetry notebooks to be confiscated, for drawings to be crumpled and stepped on, for rings crafted from soup bones to be thrown by the guards down the latrines. Even the letters we sent to our children were stamped as dangerous content and returned to us. They were indeed dangerous. Poetry, art, and crafts lifted our spirits and reminded the world of our humanity. By Christmas 1979, I was driven from prison to an airport and forced into exile. One could say I was deported from my own country. I could not smuggle my notebook out of there, but it did not concern me much to leave my poetry behind. I was only looking forward to being finally reunited with my little daughter and joining her father in the United States. When I landed in Seattle, Washington, I found a refugee resettlement program, a solidarity committee, a Chicano center, and a Catholic church that embraced my family and helped us heal. My husband was waiting at SeaTac International Airport, where all local newspapers covered our arrival. Reporters illustrated their articles with the Statue of Liberty and the American flag. Their message: what I had endured only happened in other places, and I was now safe. Today, 4 decades later, most people in the United States continue to ignore that in the land of liberty, a perverse prison system makes invisible millions of women, men, and children guilty of being undocumented refugees or job seekers. The workshop. In September 2015, Civic, now Freedom for Immigrants, invited me to lead a workshop. When I walked into their luminous retreat room overseeing the Pacific Ocean, I immediately felt the solidarity in the air. I have brought with me poems to share, ideas about testimonial texts to present, and a couple of writing prompts. I knew that everyone in the group had much to tell the world about their experience with the U.S. immigration detention system. However, since people tend to be shy about their ability to express themselves in writing, you know about that. I just expected to leave with 2 or 3 collective works and a long-term plan to gather more writings from people in detention and their visiting allies. During the workshop, I read poems by Evangelina Arce, a mother of Ciudad Juarez, who began writing after her daughter Silvia was kidnapped. I passed around the poetry collections produced by the Mothers of Plaza de Mayo during the dictatorship in Argentina, and I shared my mother's and my daughter's poems about their own visits to me in prison. I told workshop participants of exiled Chilean poet Cecilia Vicuña and her idea of palabrarmas, or word weapons. Then I showed participants how Vicuña opened the word solidarity in Spanish to read sol y dad. That means to give and give sun. The next task during the workshop was for the participants to gather in groups and talk about their experiences in immigration detention centers. When ready, they would write collectively about their memories, their feelings. In less than an hour, Many pages were filled with meaningful, strong words of denunciation and hope. Chole Diaz, a bilingual visitor volunteer at the Otay Detention Center in California, wrote, "Como los pétalos de un girasol, nos tomamos las manos para darnos valor. Like sunflower petals, we hold hands to share courage. Nurtured with compassion, watered with tears of impotence, and fertilized with solidarity, many testimonial texts blossomed that September morning. Others were harvested from the notebooks and letters of people in detention and their visitors. They gather, like sunflowers shedding their seeds to inspire us. These words, these drawings, and the work in solidarity will give us the courage to bear witness to injustice and work together to end systems of isolation." Thank you.